What is happening with you guys? Midnight here. It's a little windy, so hopefully you guys can hear me. In this video, I'm going to be doing a full and final review on my 2022 Acura ILX. I'm going to start out here by talking about the mods that I have done to it. And then we'll go into some POV driving after that. We will start with just the basic body mods that the car has. So it does have the A-Spec, I believe they're called A-Spec underbody spoilers. The car came from factory with the middle set, but I did buy the end piece right here and then the front piece. You can see right here, those are added on. Honestly, one of the best cheaper mods I did to the car. I think it looks really good, and obviously being an OEM option, fits super clean. And I don't know why the A-Specs don't come with the full kit, but at least mine only came with the middle piece. And in addition, on the middle piece, I have from S Factor Fabrication on Instagram, just some simple black side splitters. He does make rear diffuser pieces and a front splitter. I did have the front splitter on the car for all of about 3 hours, and it came off instantly once I was doing triple digits. So if you do drive your car hard, be aware of that. This middle piece right here will not hold a front splitter at higher speeds with more downforce. So next, cosmetically, I have a carbon fiber ducktail from Manny Motorsports. This is made for the ILX. From above, it looks really good. Unfortunately, if I pan down, you can see there are some slight gaps on the sides. For some reason, he made it so that it could be put over the top of the OEM A-Spec splitter. I'm not really sure why. If it fit flush just by itself, I think it would be a whole lot better, but it is what it is. I've grown to pretty much just ignore the small flaws on this car because they drive me crazy. As I said, I did just wash the car. It was absolutely filthy. It's a little bit dark, so saving me some trouble there. If you guys seeing kind of how dirty it is, but paint has definitely seen better days. But to be honest with you, this car has never been garage kept, and for what it is, I think it held up pretty dang well. Currently at almost 43,000 miles, and yeah, again, never been garage kept, so paint held up really well. Overall, the car still looks super clean. Now let's talk about some of the performance mods or bigger mods done on the car. So first and most obviously are my wheels. These are XXR 527s. They're 18 by 8.75 with a plus 35 offset. And I think they look really good. They literally almost exactly match the paint of the car. So I forget the exact color name. It's like black chrome, something like that. My personal opinion, couldn't really have chosen a better wheel on the car. I mean, the size, the way it fills in the wheel well, I think it's just absolutely perfect. For tires, I'm running Pilot Sport 4S's, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. They are 235/40, I believe. If you guys really want a good street tire, widely known that the Pilot Sport 4S's are the way to go. A lot of much higher end cars come with them from factory. They're completely overkill. I reached the limit of the chassis on the car when driving hard much before the limit of the tires, so they are definitely plenty for this car. What else? Next, under the hood, I'm not gonna pop the hood, but actually, you know what, we will pop the hood, why not? Another small thing here, you guys can see I did black out my chrome far. Looks really clean up close. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. I did that, I believe, at least 2 years ago now. So it's held up really, really well through all types of different weather conditions. If I just pop the hood really quick here, you guys can see we are running AEM open ram intake. Otherwise, sorry, I'm next to a fire station, so you're gonna hear the sirens. Otherwise, nothing really to see on the engine bay. You guys wouldn't be able to tell based on me showing you, but the car does have a catless exhaust manifold or header, whatever you want to call it. These cars have a single header, so it is still the OEM one, but we went ahead and gutted it, so it is catless there. And then it is also running a catless secondary cat. That one is not gutted. I had the secondary cat cut out, and it's just a straight pipe welded in, which connects directly back into my full race catback right here. This is the full race catback exhaust for the 9th Gen SI and Acura ILX. As this car shares a chassis with the 9th Gen Civic Si, which I'll get into more when we go driving. Otherwise, not too much to report in the way of mods. Another thing I do have underneath the car, you guys won't be able to see, but I do have a Progress Tech bigger rear sway bar. This is another mod I did when I put the A-Spec front and rear underbody spoilers on, and that has helped the handling quite a bit. I definitely recommend it. As you guys can see here, I do have a gutted trunk, so this car doesn't come with a spare, so I just took out all the extra stuff that is in the trunk. Save a little bit of weight, probably not much, probably like 5 pounds. But the bigger, more practical benefit that I didn't even think about is I can fit a lot more stuff in this little added area, which is normally covered. I still have the fix-a-flat and the tire inflator in my back seat, but yeah, so marginal benefit. As you can see, you can probably fit 40 to 50 pairs of shoes in here with added space. Otherwise, weight reductions. This wheel setup is lighter than the OEM setup. I believe I calculated it's about 50 pounds, somewhere between 50 and 75 pounds lighter all around. So again, marginal difference, but probably all in all, maybe nearly 100 pounds lighter than stock with this setup. So I would say with a car that's barely making any power, I would say you should do whatever you can if you really care about performance to reduce your weight. Otherwise, not too much to talk about in the way of mods. This car is not very mod friendly, which I'll talk about in a little bit as well. There's really nothing available for this car, so this is pretty much what you can do with it. You can tune these cars, which I'll also talk about when we drive, but cosmetically and performance wise, the number one thing that I forgot to mention is that I am on coilovers. So I am running BC Racing coilovers, not the extreme lows, just the BR series, I believe they're called. I don't know the exact drop. We've lowered the car multiple times now, but it is obviously quite a bit lower than stock. And I think this is absolutely perfect fitment combination here. So enough said. If you guys have any other questions about the mods, happy to answer them. Let's go ahead and go for a drive. Alright, so hopefully this angle works. This is my absolute first time, and there's literally a state trooper right next to me. My radar's gonna be going crazy. This is my absolute first time attempting this with my phone, so I really hope that the angle is okay here. I'm trying my best to see if it is. I can kind of see in my peripheral, but not well. We're gonna go ahead and escape here because this state trooper is kind of just sitting here watching me, so hopefully he does not follow me. It says I'm not supposed to make a right here. I'm gonna make a right, and hopefully he doesn't get mad at me. Now there's not much in the way of turns here to showcase, but you guys can at least hear the car. I'm not gonna fly out as the state trooper is right there. Yeah, guys, I have no idea how this angle looks. Hopefully it's okay. I'm gonna try not to mess with it too much, but I really hope that you guys can see absolutely anything here. So let's talk about my experience owning this car. Some pros of this car, some cons about this car, and I would like to preface very clearly that everything that I say is going to be entirely subjective. Objectively, this is a great car, and the number one thing to highlight is that this is not a sports car. This is an economy car. This is a commuter car with a K24. That's really what it is. I've heard people say that it's a Civic Si in a tuxedo, and it's not. I hate to say that, but I think I'm pretty qualified to say that. I believe, I'm like 99% sure the Civic Si comes with an LSD. This car is open differential. It's just the chassis, even though it's on the same chassis as the 9th Gen Si, I believe I've seen somebody explaining this in a forum before. The chassis just is not as tight as the Si. I don't know how to explain it. If you drive the car at the limit with this setup, I think people that have driven other cars that are more sporty will understand. Suspension feels good. I have it relatively stiff. The BC Racing coilers do have adjustable dampers. The suspension is not the best. I mean, it is still, I believe it's $1,200 or $1,300 new. It's not going to be, it's not going to be KW level or some of these higher end brands. But it is a good entry level, street setup, and there's really no other options for this car. Like I was saying, this car is not overly mod friendly. There's really not a lot available, especially higher end stuff. Like the full race is one of the only, in my opinion, decent catback systems that will actually bolt directly onto the car. You can plug and play with 9th Gen Si systems because it is the same chassis, but to my knowledge, they require modification in order to fit properly. So it's not a whole lot available. Yeah, at the limit, I have the wider wheel setup on here. I have the coilovers on here, and the chassis just feels like it's floaty. That's the best way that I can describe it. It feels very floaty at the limit. Does not feel tight or buttoned down, which is very disappointing. But at the end of the day, like I said, this car is not a sports car, and I was trying to make it something that it's not, and doesn't like that very much. So that's about what I can say about that. Let's talk about some specific pros of this car. I would say the dual clutch transmission on this car is both a pro and a con. In the sense of it being a pro, I'd say the shifts are very fast for what it is. The rev matches sound really nice on the downshifts, and yeah, there is a little bit of a delay. Like you can see, there's like a 1 or 2 second delay from when you click the paddle to it actually shifting. The downshifts, I would say, are faster. But all in all, again, this is not a sports car. So for what you get, in sport mode, I'd say the tuning on the transmission is honestly pretty solid. Let's get some downshifts here. There's quite a bit of traffic right now, so we're not going to be able to do a ton, but So I would say the next pro is how quick this car is. By today's standards, it's considered slow by most people. 0 to 60, it's about 6 seconds. With my mods and weight reduction stuff, might be shaving a few tenths off of that into the 5s. In perfect conditions, maybe I'm getting a 5.7, 5.8, 5.9. I don't exactly know, but it's around that number. The DCT definitely makes up for some of the, lack of power and torque in this car. This car severely lacks torque, and that's part of the reason when I do drive it, I pretty much shift it myself all the time. It's obviously just more enjoyable to me, and I don't like when it shifts itself, especially with this car makes some noises in this form that are, some are less favorable than others, I would say. And when I put it in automatic and let it shift itself, it doesn't exactly make the greatest noises all the time. In terms of like the vibration stuff, it can have some bad vibration. So with all that, I like to shift it myself. And again, it wants to be revved out. Now, one thing with the transmission on this car that we did find when I put it on the dyno, because if you guys don't know, this car was tuned, which is a whole nother story. The car is not tuned right now. It is running, the O2 sensors are turned off, so we can run the cat with setup, and the speed limiter is removed. I got a little bit of an opening here, so I want to show you guys something. Now you guys probably won't be able to tell from that, but the car does actually rev out further in 4th gear than any other gear. It's completely inexplicable. I don't know why they made it like that, but if you guys own these cars and you've ever put it in manual mode before, you'll know the car, it won't let you just bang the rev limiter. It does upshift itself, which is just a parameter to protect the engine and the transmission. That's common on a handful of cars. I've seen that on a lot of higher end cars when you put it in manual mode. Fortunately, we weren't able to tune that out, which I would have liked, but the car probably would not have liked that at all. And yeah, I think I believe when we put it on the dyno, it revved out 300 to 400 RPM higher in 4th gear than any other gear. It revved damn near to 7 in 4th gear, but then every other gear, I believe, is closer to like 6,700. It would upshift even when you're in manual mode. It would automatically upshift. So quite disappointing, I would say. Kind of takes away from the experience when you want to drive it in manual mode and it's shifting for you still, but it makes sense as a parameter to protect the engine and the transmission. So that is one thing. So I would say pro in the sense of how much power the car has is you can really wring this car out. It's not that fast, so you can floor it and pull through the gears without it be going insane speeds. And it's also not a complete slow poke. You're not just gonna get left in the dust every time you try to explore it. Let's get some more downshifts here. And it is a Honda, so you can beat on it. So another pro I will give it is the sound. I personally think this sound is awesome. I think personally this is the best setup for the best sound on this car. People may disagree. I personally think we need to go under this bridge right here. Not sure if the camera will pick it up, but it does have some pops from the exhaust even without a tune. They're more like burbles, I would say, than pops. I personally like it. It's not obnoxious. Has a little bit of flavor, I guess. And I personally also do not really know where I'm going right now, but it's alright. So yeah, I think this is, I would say, the best exhaust setup for this car. Even just the full race alone. And then obviously the intake I do have. The pro I will give it is that it sounds really good. It is, as you guys saw, open box. So you do get that really good engine sound. Now, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but you guys might be able to hear at idle right now. With the AC on, we kind of have this tractor sound going on. So I do typically put the car into neutral, just because it tends to rattle less. But that is one thing with this exhaust. I will say, if you kind of finesse it, I had it set up better. I wasn't getting any rattling, but since we put the Progress Tech rear sway bar on, it is rattling pretty badly. It has been for the past year. So really not optimal. It does have some pretty weird vibrations. It has some drone at certain RPMs. Whole bunch of fun stuff. A lot of stuff that you can expect when going catless in general on any car. I don't know if the camera picks it up there, but you guys can kind of hear under 3,000. The thing is, the exhaust sits very close to the rear right spring. So it basically gets jostled, and when it's touching it, creates a really bad, not good sounding vibration. I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up or not, but that is basically what it is. And you guys might, I'm assuming it's going to pick that up. It's not the most pleasant sound in the whole wide world, I would say. Definitely not the most pleasant sounding. Go ahead and pop a UE right here. know I do let it rev high in general. That's just the way I like to drive it. I've driven it like that for years, never had an issue whatsoever. So, trying to see where my hand is in the camera, because I really have no clue, to be honest with you guys, if this camera angle is going to work or not. Fingers crossed it does. Another couple small things I forgot to mention on the interior. You guys won't be able to tell. Maybe if I turn on this so you guys can see, I do have a Alcantara steering wheel. It's just a wrap that I did myself. It's not a different wheel. And I also have these carbon fiber paddle shifter extensions that I literally just got on Amazon. Honestly, for, you know, because you want mods that you actually interact with. Steering wheel shifter is going to be one of the main ones that you touch every single time you drive the car. So I'd really say for that, it's really great. I did the wrap on this wheel 3 years ago. Same with the shifter extensions. Had literally zero issues with any of that. I mean, it is fraying. I mean, not fraying. The Alcantara itself is wearing a little bit. But what can you expect? That's just what happens with Alcantara over time. But stayed on great. I mean, no issues with that whatsoever. So I would definitely call that a win. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the rattling this car occasionally is pretty bad. I'm assuming the camera's probably going to pick that up. Yeah, I'm pretty tired of that, so filming this video today because I am swapping back to the stock exhaust to sell the car tomorrow. There, you guys can probably hear it. And you see when I throw it in neutral, sometimes it stops it. Right now it's not. And that's the thing with this car, it's just all these little intricacies that are very infrequent. You know, it's only some of the time. And it's just like those small little things that you would only know from owning the car for so long. And those are just things that will bother the heck out of you if you let them. That's definitely something I've experienced. In the way of curves, that's about as much as you're gonna get where I am. Not much in the way of curves out here. The best part about this car with this exhaust and intake setup is just being a Honda. And you just gotta let it scream. You just gotta hold it at like 5,000 RPM. And you really get that true VTEC engaged sound, which I love. Now, the con of this intake, and I would say this is the #1 con of any mod I have on this car, the exhaust rattling, whatever, that doesn't affect the drivability. It's just annoying, so it's not a huge deal. However, the intake on this car being open box, or whatever it's called, where the top is exposed, this is just in general, the intake is going to be sucking hot air from under the hood just as much or more so than cool air coming from through the front grille. I never expected this to be such an issue. When we had the car on the dyno, it was overheating quite a bit from the intake temps, even with the hood open and a fan on it. That was around summertime, so I would say to you guys, if you are in the South, especially states like Texas, Florida, Arizona, where it gets really hot and it's on average pretty hot, I would really not suggest to you guys to get the AEM intake for this car. It sounds awesome. No doubt it sounds better than the engine. You get the screaming intake noise, which is why I got it. But the engine design will prevent you from encountering heat soaking issues, and you'll probably gain a little bit more power from it. I believe it like curves down, so it's much closer to the actual front grille, and you're not sucking in just straight hot air that's stuck underneath the hood basically. But this has been such an issue for me that the car will noticeably cut power because of how bad it's heat soaking. It really sucks, and it's really noticeable when it's hot out. Thankfully, it's obviously nighttime right now, and it's pretty cool out. It's perfect weather out today, so we don't really have to worry about that right now. Let's go ahead and get another pull in here. Car is undoubtedly pretty quick. I have a feeling my camera angle might have gotten messed up from that a little. But yeah, the car is it's not crazy slow. It's definitely not the fastest thing in the world, but again, can really ring it out. It's pretty fun to drive, you know. DCT is responsive. Now, the con on the DCT is it's not gonna hold power. This has been tested by somebody I know that tried to put a turbo kit on one of these a couple years ago, and it was a pretty small turbo. I don't remember exactly how much power he was making, but it wasn't much above 250. I don't know what they had the torque at, but the clutches were already slipping at that level of power. So in terms of making power, this DCT is not where it's at, unfortunately. And there's no way to change that. This car was not offered the manual option or anything like that, so you're stuck with the DCT. I know of one person that is tuned with a similar setup to me. You know, catless intake is basically all you can do in terms of power. And he has talked about his clutches feeling like they're slipping sometimes. So even just with bolt-ons tune, this car does not hold up great in the way of the transmission. That is undoubtedly the weak point, unfortunately. If you guys are new to the channel or you don't know, I did have the car tuned. Would have been 2 years ago now. And the car unfortunately threw a rod. Now, due to oil starvation, now the only reason I don't think it was the tune is because, like I said, I have a friend who's tuned. He's on the exact same file from the same tuner that I had, and his car still runs fine. He's had the tune on the car, I haven't talked to him in a while, but at least I want to say 20 to 30,000 miles, and no issues from what I know. So I really don't think it was the tune. Kind of just wrote the car off as being a lemon. I had the car since it was brand new. They were never able to explain to me what caused the engine failure, but it did throw a rod due to oil starvation. I know that much. The car was warranted, even with the tune. I've talked about this before. And yeah, I can talk about this now since it's passed. I don't think I'm gonna get a letter in the mail with a lawsuit, but they obviously have someone inspect the car before they approve warranty work on a new engine. It's not a completely new engine. I believe they just rebuilt the top end. But from what I know, they didn't even know it was tuned until they actually rebuilt the top end, and then they went to finalize the work on the car. I guess they recalibrated it, and that messed with the tune. The file was not compatible, so then the car was basically going to limp mode. It wouldn't shift, all this weird stuff. I've talked about that in a previous video, if you guys have watched the channel before, that I've since deleted. But all in all, had the new top end on the car probably, I want to say about 10,000 miles now, and zero issues. As I said, it is on the stock tune. I wanted to just kind of take this video to go over, everything I know about this car, modifying this car, driving impressions of this car. As I said, I've had this car since it had literally 0 miles. So it's been 4 years, over 40,000 miles, 2 engines, a lot in between, and this car has been great to me. I mean, I talk bad about it a lot. It's, like I said, it's not the fastest, whatever. It's really not a whole lot you can do with it, but if you guys want a good daily, especially if you're not really into modding like stock, I will say the one thing, again, this car is not a sports car. The stock suspension is very soft. I think one thing that they really failed with this car, the A-Spec kit, is purely cosmetic. It adds absolutely nothing, driving wise. I think they could have at least done sportier springs or something with the A-Spec kit to make it a little bit more desirable. But yeah, the A-Spec kit is just cosmetic, so don't buy that expecting any performance difference over the base model. Other than that, you do get, I don't know if they're wider, but they are at least 18-inch wheels instead of 17s. That's really the only thing. So yeah, I want to just do some driving here and not talk. Don't really have the best roads here to actually drive the car, but I tried to get a variety of highway driving, regular street driving. Again, don't really have many back roads here, so pretty limited on what I can do there. Really trying to think of anything else that I can talk about in relation to this car. We'll be selling it in a couple of weeks, and for sale. If somebody's interested, hit me up, shoot me a price, shoot me an offer. Who knows, this might be yours. So I'll shut up. If I think of anything else to say, I'll throw it in towards the end, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do a little bit of driving so you guys can hear the car, see how it shifts. We'll be a little bit obnoxious with it so that, you know, just to exaggerate the sounds and whatever, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what you get when you modify it like this. Trying to do this car justice before I get rid of it, man, because it does deserve some credit. To my knowledge, this may be the only Honda or Acura with a factory DCT that's even somewhat modern. I don't know any other models that are current that actually include a DCT. I know the Integra that replaces does not. It includes a CVT, but you can get the manual version. So for that, I would say it is pretty unique. And I'd say this car in general is quite unique. You know, when I take it to car shows and just out in general, you don't see a lot of them. You do see some stock ones here and there, but I've only seen like 2 modded ones in my whole time of owning this. So there is definitely that unique factor. Somebody who likes Hondas will certainly appreciate this car, no doubt about it. will say driving it around like this is kind of making me sad about selling it, man. I haven't just taken it out for a drive in a long time, and I will say it feels good. With that being said, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. Really hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one, when hopefully, at least in the next IRL video, we will be in a new car. So I personally, for one, am very excited about that, and I hope that I'll be able to make some more consistent IRL content once I have that car. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions about the car or in general, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.